Good morning, you guys. I hope y'all are doing great on this Thursday morning. Um, Want to remind you guys of some things. Tonight we won't be doing anything. Kelsey and I will be heading down to San Antonio. If you didn't know, Kelsey's grandmother passed away last week, and we're going down to San Antonio tonight to spend time with the to be with the family, and go to the services tomorrow. So there will be no game night or Netflix watch party tonight at 6:30. There will also not be any devotion tomorrow morning, um, but we'll be back at it Sunday school 9:30. Hope you guys are there for that. And maybe I'll see y'all on in the early service, or maybe in the later service. Looking forward to really seeing you guys, and really connecting with y'all, or at least seeing y'all in person. So maybe I'll see you for the 9 o'clock or the 10:30 service uh, Sunday morning, because it's our first in-person service. So I hope you guys are there. For this morning's devotion, uh, I want to share with you guys what is known as the Great Commission. You've probably heard this before. You've probably heard this. These verses before. You've heard that, I'm sure, before talk about the Great Commission, and so you probably know what this says. And so I'm gonna read start from verse 18 through 20, but we're gonna really focus on verses 19 and 20. Actually, we're just gonna focus on all of it because it's all good. So Matthew 28:18 through 20, it says, "And Jesus came to them and said," or I'm sorry, let me start over. "And Jesus came and said to them, All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you. And behold, I am with you always to the end of the age." And this is awesome. Like all these verses are awesome. First, it starts off with Jesus telling his disciples, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me." And this is awesome because what has happened is, this is after Jesus has been crucified, and his disciples have just kind of gone back to their normal lives. They've just gone back to what was normal for them. They've just gone back to what was just expected, and they just kind of did what they would regularly do. They weren't really telling people about Jesus and all this, and they kind of felt bad about it. And Jesus starts off with, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me," and he's saying, "You're forgiven." He's telling them in this statement, in this sentence, "You are forgiven. You are free." And so then after that, he gives them a command. He says, "Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit." And he's giving them this command, and it is an imperative command. He is saying, as you are going, make disciples. As you're walking, as you're in life, make disciples. As you go through this life, make disciples. Teach them, baptize them, bring them the gospel. And then he wraps up this whole Great Commission with a promise, and an amazing, beautiful promise. In verse 20, he says, "Teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you." And then here's the promise, "And behold, I am with you always to the end of the age." This year has been crazy. It is one that's going to go down in the history books. It's one that people are going to try to forget. This year has been crazy. But what we can take and what we can really get from this year and what we can really like put our hope in and our trust in is that Jesus is with us to the end of the age. In the hard times, in the good times, Jesus is with us. And so here's why it's a great commission. It's a great commission because first Jesus says, you're forgiven. And then he tells this command, he gives this command, this imperative command to go therefore and make disciples of all nations. Go therefore, make disciples of all nations. As you are going, as you go through life, make disciples of all nations. Teach them all that I have commanded you. And you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be worried. You don't have to be nervous because I am with you always to the end of the age. So what I want you guys to get from this morning's devotion is, first and foremost, if you're watching this, you're a Christian, you are forgiven. Jesus has forgiven you. You start today with new mercies from God. Secondly, we are told to go. Our faith is not a faith of passivity. It is not a spectator sport. It is for us to be active in. We are to go and make disciples, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and Holy Spirit, teaching them what He's commanded us. And we don't have to be afraid because Jesus is with us. God is with us to the end of the age. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like down below, and I hope you guys are subscribed, and I will see you guys Sunday morning, 9:30 for Sunday school, or maybe in the 9 o'clock service or the 10:30 service. See you guys later. Have a good one.